Welcome back to my channel. I'm Angie and today is about getting to know yourself. I think that there are different points in our lives where sometimes we do know ourselves and sometimes we look in the mirror and it's literally a stranger and you don't know how you got there, you don't know where you've come from, where you're going. So it's important to get to know who you are and get to know what makes you you, what makes you so special and important. A few years ago I had kind of something traumatic happened and I like really didn't know how to get back to that point in my life where I was like happy to see the person who was staring back at me. And so these are just a few of my tips to kind of get back to who you are and knowing yourself. So tip number 1 for getting to know yourself: get out of your comfort zone. Leave it behind, to the side. Just get out like a box, like a cat in a box. Jump out. See the light, see something new. So some good ways to kind of get out of your comfort zone. Go on a trip by yourself. What was really like the turning of the tide for me, I took a trip for 2.5 months backpacking through Europe, and it was like very much eat, pray, love kind of thing, and it changed my life completely and got me back on track to who I am. It doesn't have to be a trip to, see new countries. It doesn't even have to be out of your state if you're from the United States, or it doesn't have to be outside of your country, from whatever country you're viewing this from. It could be going to a new city that's 2 hours away. Just go on a trip by yourself. That's like the key, most important part, because when you go on by yourself, you get to make all of your own decisions. Get really lost. Get so lost that you're just kind of not afraid, but just not sure. Turn off your phone. Don't let Google Maps screw with you. A lot of places have little welcome centers. Get a physical map. Figure out your strengths of your directions. I'm directionally challenged. I used to when I was on these trips, I'd look at my map because I didn't have Wi-Fi. Look at my map, look around, be like, this looks like it's north. Head up the street. Find out 20 minutes down the road, it is south. And then I have to turn around 20 minutes. But in that 20 minutes, I got to see so many things that I would never have seen if I was just into, little Siri oh, take a right, take a left. Another thing when you're taking trips by yourself, figure out what it is you want to explore. I think sometimes we have this predetermined idea of what it is that we like, and sometimes it surprises us that it's not what it is we like. I went on this trip thinking, oh yeah, of course I'll take this trip by myself. I like going through museums by myself. I think I went through 2 museums. And the cities that I went through museums in, the first city, I just did museums, I just did walking tours and all the touristy things, and I hated it. I hated it so much. And I realized after a few cities that I didn't want to spend all of my days in museums. It's not what I actually wanted. And that was kind of a little scary because I was like, now what do I do with all my time? But it was also nice. It was just nice to explore my own interests. What I really wanted to do was sit in coffee shops and overhear kind of different languages and read and kind of take time for just myself, not feel pressured to go anywhere or do anything or follow this line or follow that line. And so I don't think you can get to that point unless you're exploring by yourself. Because if you're with a group and you're like, okay, well today we're doing this museum, if you change your mind, you can't. Your plan's already set. All these people are already planning to do it. And a lot of times we all have our different interests and our different things, so there's just no getting out of it once you've kind of committed to it. And sometimes you do have people who are just as willing to kind of go with the flow as you, but even then you're still checking with them. Oh, is this okay? Is this not okay? Did you want to do this? Did you want to do that? And really what you should, these trips make you check in with yourself. Did I want to do that? Did I not want to do that? Did I like that? Did I not like that? And that's so important because then you're asking yourself personal questions. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. When I was in Italy, literally ate gelato every single day, and it was glorious. It was beautiful and wonderful, and You know, it doesn't have to be ice cream. It could be like a cup of coffee. It could be being able to sit by a body of water. Just treating yourself. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It's just doing something that you love uninterrupted. Another way to get out of your comfort zone, join a new group, in a cooking class. Join an online class or like an online book club. Add a fresh new element, you know, like add it to your little pot of life, mix it up. Cooking classes, you know? Maybe you can cook with other people. Maybe you learn about Cindy and her 2 kids. Maybe you learn about Paul and his weird dog. Sometimes we're so in our own little circles that we just can't grow because there's not any new elements. Even if you decide you don't like these people, or even if you decide that, you know, you're not interested in whatever it is that you joined, like, you can always leave, and at least you kind of, maybe you learned a new skill, like cooking. Now you can finally make yourself something to eat. A way to get out of your comfort zone, try something you've judged. If you know, have always judged being vegan, try it for a few days. That, like, not because I've judged it, but I've just been, like, stayed away from reality TV quite a bit. I just don't think of it as something that I'd enjoy. I tried watching The Bachelor with a bunch of roommates, and I found it to be so funny. I watched it a few different episodes, and now, like, there's a coworker of mine that him and I literally bond because his girlfriend watches it and he watches it with her. By doing something that you've judged or have a predispositioned kind of negative outlook on, like, once you've actually tried it, you might surprise yourself. Guys, I'm sorry about all of these, like, hair issues. It just, like, keeps falling out. My hair is, like, at this point, like, right after I wash it, it's always, like, so soft that it just, like, falls. Oh, yeah. Okay. So tip number 2 is based on a quote. Figure out who you were before the world told you who you are. I read this quote on Pinterest like a few weeks ago. Like, it really just kind of spoke to me because there's some, like, little things that as a kid we love so much that kind of the world tells us to forget about, tells us that we shouldn't be doing or can't be doing. And we lose all those things that we loved when we were children. Did you love painting all over the walls? Maybe you should be an interior decorator. Maybe, like, you really loved adding and subtracting numbers and then had a teacher when you were in high school tell you sucked at math. And so suddenly your brain tells you sucked at math, and that's, like, the only way that you've thought of yourself for, like, a really long time. Think of the things that you loved to do as a kid and maybe try doing them again. See if that makes you feel as happy as you used to. Maybe you loved looking at the stars. You told your parents you wanted to be an astronaut, or you told somebody you wanted to be an astronomer and they said no. You don't make enough money doing that, or you don't do blah blah blah. So, like, make it a hobby. Make it, you know, I'm not telling you to change your career. Do it if you think it's important, but, you know, figure out the things that you liked when you were a kid, and maybe you try doing that now. I think that's a good way to kind of figure out, again, who you are, because I think there are some things that are innately part of us. As kids, we know that more than we realize that we do. So those are my tips on getting to know yourself. Comment below if you think of anything else. I'd love to hear your points of view. I'd love to hear any other suggestions that you have. Also, give this a big thumbs up, click subscribe, hit that notification button so that you know every time I post. A big thing I'm starting, if you saw my video on The Godfather, I'm doing Fun Day Monday where I'm exploring movies, books, different things that I've never tried, and on Thursdays I'm doing adulting videos, or, like, you know, videos that everyone should know how to do in their adult life. I think in any time of their life, but adulting. And thank you guys so much. See you on Monday.